very good evening. You're watching the Super Saturday debate with me, Akanksha Swaroop. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's declaration of Ghar mein ghus ke marenge, a stance also endorsed by Bharat's Raksha Mantri, Mr. Rajnath Singh, has arrived as India's surgical strike moment. That too just days ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha election. The Guardian report alleging Indian involvement in targeted assassinations in Pakistan may impact Modi's election campaign, resonating with the narrative of 2016 and 2019 surgical strikes of Uri and Balakot when terror camps located inside Pakistani territory were decimated. What was the message? That India will not tolerate cross-border terrorism. It is one that reinforced India's iron fist stance against terrorism. And so just before the Lok Sabha elections, all set to begin from April 19, once again Prime Minister Modi is having a surgical strike moment of sorts. Interestingly, the Congress manifesto has attacked NDA's national security policy on China by labeling it as chest-thumping and exaggerated claims. In fact, the Grand Old Party has assured to restore status quo with China at the LAC. But has the Guardian report only vindicated Modi government's unapologetic yet strong message that it will not think twice before avenging for any cross-border attack, neither on its Jawans nor its Janta? Also, why is the opposition threatened by Modi's muscular foreign policy and its policy on national security? And that brings us to the moot question we'll be posing to our guests tonight on Ghar ke ghus ke mara stand. Is NDA's iron fist policy on national security delivering? On that note, let me also break down for you all those explosive revelations that have been made by Guardian's report. We'll do that in just a bit, but here's a report first.
कल ही जो है गार्डियन फॉरेन पब्लिकेशन है गार्डियन, उसमें एक आर्टिकल आया है. उसमें कहा है, उस आर्टिकल ने कहा है कि जो है भारत ने पाकिस्तान की धरती में 20 लोगों को, 20 इंडिविजुअल्स को, टेररिस्ट को जो है पिछले कुछ सालों में मारा है, उन्हीं की धरती में जाके मारा है. और जो है इस पर तमाम क्या कहते हैं, उन्होंने बहुत रिसर्च की है, बहुत लोगों से बात की है. ये पहले हम लोगों के बारे में कनाडा में भी बोला गया, यूएस में भी ये चर्चा हुई पहले, पर पाकिस्तान की ये नई चर्चा है, 20 लोग. तो इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं कि ये क्या, उस आर्टिकल में ये भी कहा है कि जो है भारत जो है केजीबी और मुसाद से जो है काफ़ी इन्फ्लुएंस्ड है, तो उनकी भी जो इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी है, रॉ वगैरह, इस तरीके का काम कर रही है. कोई स्लीपर सेल है यूएई में, उसने जो है इसमें उसका रोल रहा है. और 20 लोगों को, मतलब एक आध लोग नहीं, 20 टेररिस्ट को जो है हमने कुछ सालों में मारा है.
20 टेररिस्ट को मारा है?
हाँ जी, मतलब टेररिस्ट कह लीजिए, लोगों कह लीजिए, पर वहाँ उनकी धरती में मारा है.
कोई भी टेररिस्ट हमारे पड़ोसी देश से यदि भारत को डिस्टर्ब करने की कोशिश करेगा
जी,
यहाँ पर यदि आतंकवादी हरकतें करेगा तो उसका मुंह तोड़ जवाब देंगे. यदि वो भगकर पाकिस्तान में जाएगा तो पाकिस्तान में घुस कर मारेंगे.
तो ये बात आप मतलब कह रहे हैं, जो प्रधानमंत्री भी कह रहे हैं कि अब वो भारत नहीं रहा जो कि बगल में खड़े होकर तमाशा देखता रहेगा, घर में घुस कर मारेगा.
बिल्कुल, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो कहा है बिल्कुल सच कहा है, और यह ताकत है भारत की, और पाकिस्तान भी इसे समझने लगा है. वैसे भारत बराबर अपने पड़ोसी देशों के साथ अच्छे रिश्ते बनाकर रखना चाहता है, चाहे कोई भी हमारा पड़ोसी देश है. और आज देखा होगा आपने, पास्ट हिस्ट्री उठाकर देखिए कि आज तक न तो हमने दुनिया के किसी देश पर कभी आक्रमण किया है अथवा आक्रमण की कोई पहल की हो, कभी नहीं किया. और न तो दुनिया के किसी देश की 1 इंच जमीन पर हम लोगों ने कभी कब्जा करने की कोशिश की है. यह भारत का चरित्र रहा है
जी.
लेकिन भारत को बार बार कोई आंख दिखाएगा, भारत में आकर आतंकवादी गतिविधियों को बढ़ावा कर देने की कोशिश करेगा, तो उसकी खैर नहीं है.
All right, on that note, let's also break down those explosive revelations presented in the Guardian article. The first and foremost, it says that Indian government ordered killings of terrorists in Pakistan. It also says that assassinations of nearly 20 top terrorists have been conducted since the year 2019. In fact, it says that targeted killings have been on the rise significantly in the year 2023 alone. It also goes on to say that India's wider anti-terror strategy has happened only after the Pulwama attack of 2019. It says that targets have been charged with violent terror offences. It also says that locals have been employed in several cases to carry out these murders on foreign soil. It says that documents show that research and analysis wing has been directly involved in these killings, and that K group members have been targeted both in Pakistan and in the West, of course referring to Canada, even the United States. It says that the killings have been orchestrated by Indian intel sleeper cells, and that these Indian intel sleeper cells are primarily operating out of UAE.
मैंने आपको गारंटी दी थी कि देश झुकने नहीं दूंगा, देश रुकने नहीं दूंगा।
ये वक्त आ गया है कि जब हमारी गवर्नमेंट को चाहिए कि जो बयान बार बार हमारे होम मिनिस्टर देते हैं कि पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर हमारा हिस्सा है, उसको वापस लेना चाहिए।
ये झूठी घोषणाएं बहुत हो चुकी हैं। आतंकवादी रोज क्यों यहाँ पे वारदात कर रहे हैं? अगर आतंकवाद खत्म हो गया, आप किसको मार रहे हैं? रोज कोई न कोई घटना हो रही है।
कैसे पाकिस्तान के अंदर चुन चुन करके आतंकवादी मारे गए थे और उन आतंकवादियों को कैसे नष्ट किया गया था। द गार्डियन की इस रिपोर्ट का स्रोत क्या है?
All right, so the report has indeed bolstered, or rather has been bolstered by Prime Minister's Ghar mein ghus ke marenge declaration, and that brings us to the big question we are posing to our guests tonight: is NDA's iron fist policy on national security even delivering? Let's quickly introduce our guests today. I'm joined in by Syed Zafar Islam, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party; Arshpreet Singh Kadyal, who's a spokesperson for the Congress Party; Sushant Sareen, who's a senior fellow at ORF; Major General A.K. Sivach, who's a defense and international affairs expert. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. Major General, if I could open the debate with you, do you think that allegations of targeted killings on foreign soil, is this a call of concern or confidence of India in terms of its national security?
Akansha, I will take it this way, that it shows that the India has arrived. India has a confidence, and especially after 2016 attack in Uri, when we have carried out a surgical strike, we have sent a message to Pakistan that in case the terrorists come and strike in India, we'll strike back. And then in 2019, it was Pulwama, then Balakot was done. And in Balakot, understand one thing, it was not in POJK, it was in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Balakot was almost 90 kilometers from line of control. So we have given a clear warning to Pakistan. This is not going to be usual that you keep on making use of terrorism as state instrument, and India will keep on watching you. Now the point which this Guardian report is been published, now assuming that it has been a correct report, imagine now the point which we are trying to convey is that all these 20 terrorists in last about 4 years, they have been all eliminated systematically, and they were all involved in terrorist action in India.
All right.
And they were the one. No, point is that very important that the Pakistan is in a denial mode. Pakistan has never accepted that these are a terrorists and they are staying in Pakistan. And if they have been eliminated by so-called what they are trying to bring out by the Indian agent, then it proves beyond doubt that घर के अंदर घुस के मारेंगे, that it is not a business as usual. If the terrorism has been created by Pakistan, we are not going to be spectators. We will go deep inside Pakistan and eliminate all these terrorists. So this is a hard policy of a nation which is a confident of itself, which is the fifth largest economy and fourth largest military power.
Zafar Islam, if I could in fact bring you in on this, as the spokesperson of your party, we've seen in fact a very contradictory stances, while the Raksha Mantri, in fact the Prime Minister himself, have in fact used this as a declaration of sorts for India's policy on national security. There's been a denial coming from the MEA. As the spokesperson of your party, I want to know your stance. Do you think that this is an anti-India report, or you agree with the messaging behind this report?
See, there are two things. There are some publications in Western world who definitely purposely, intentionally publish report to malign the image of the nation. But the second important issue which you also note, that if anybody had any doubt about the change policy of the government of India under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, then they should put it to bed, because we have changed as a nation. We are no more a weak nation. We have come up a very strong nation under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister. We know how to protect our interests, safeguard our interests, and we also know how to demolish if somebody is targeting us. So in terms of foreign policy, in terms of national security, we are absolutely clear that under no circumstances we will compromise with it, and this is something which we have been able to demonstrate under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, which we have done in the past. The report which also suggests that we have done it. I mean, I will not doubt if those people, and the Honorable Raksha Mantri has very candidly said that if anybody is eyeing India with some motives, and a terrorist who is eyeing India, we will not hesitate to go anywhere in the world. And when it was referring to Pakistan, that they will get protection in Pakistan.
It's also ruffled feathers in Pakistan.
Even in their soul, we will.
All right, Arshpreet, if I could bring you in on this aspect. First of all, the attacks that we've seen come in from Prime Minister Modi are, of course, a borrowed sort of lesson that the NDA regime has learnt from the UPA regime. Much is, I think the turning point was 26/11, when we all know that back then itself, the Air Chief Marshal, we all know he had in fact openly declared that there were options enlisted to then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, and he was only met with a lukewarm response. So, is it even fair to call it jingoism or browbeating or the kind of exaggeration that has been referred to as chest thumping in the Congress manifesto?
Number one, ghar mein ghus ke marenge is good in case of an attack. That is how we should do things. But usi ghar mein mehman ban ke jana, janamdin pe mubarakbad dene jana, surprise visit karna, and that too after Udhampur attacks 2015, Gurdaspur attacks 2015, to go there, break protocol, sitting in the counterpart's chopper, having biryani there, having Kashmiri chai there. I mean, for once, the Bharatiya Janata Party could have remembered the sacrifices our Jawans have made, our army has made, and what all they have had to go through. Second, you'd remember that the ISI was allowed access to Pathankot Air Base. Was that not a blunder? Pathankot Air Base is one of the top-notch countries' air bases that we have, and nevertheless, the intelligence officials were allowed to come there.
Arshpreet, you have very successfully dodged my question. I'm asking about how is one to deny the way the Air Chief Marshal, Fali Major, had in fact made that grand claim that options were enlisted to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh back then, and for whatever diplomatic, personal, strategic, political reasons, he denied taking any action. What was that? What was that? Is it not being a mute spectator?
No, I'll answer your question with one statement only. Mr. Manmohan Singh would never do this. He would never show Pakistan prem like Mr. Modi did by going there uninvited, by going there after the attacks happened, by letting the ISI into our airbase. And after that, Mr. Shah said something. Mr. Shah said, serious effort has been done in order to resolve the issue at Pathankot Air
Zafar
Base.
Islam, how would you like to come back to that?
Prem?
All right, you've made your claims right now, Zafar Islam. I'd like you to come back to that.
I don't know how to react to this when the Congress people, anybody from the Congress speaks such thing. I mean, they should do a back testing and see their own records and see what they have done against Pakistan and how they have been actually allowing the terrorists coming into our soul and doing the terrorist activities. Today, even terrorists will think 1,000 times before entering to Indian soil. I mean, because that is the fear and they have in their mind, only because there is a strong leadership in India and the country has prioritized its policy very clearly that Indian soil cannot be used for terrorism, and anybody who has this nefarious activities they want to conduct here, they will be dealt sternly, and something which we have been able to demonstrate. Having said that, there are their own leaders, Manishankar Iyer, Salman Khurshid, what they have done said in the past. They have been there in Pakistan on their soil eating biryani, they had no business to go. The Prime Minister went on the invitation of the Prime Minister. That is something between the two relationship, as the Raksha Mantri
In fact, Ashpreet Kalyal, as we speak, the Karnataka Home Minister has a complaint to deal with the Election Commission. The Karnataka Home Minister has a complaint to deal with the Election Commission because he's questioned the intent behind the Pulwama attack. He's questioned the Pulwama attack in itself. Is that not anti-India? When you question the Samjhauta Express blast, is that not anti-India?
Thanks for the question. Kindly allow me a minute to respond to that. First and foremost, Pulwama happened. And the former governor, Mr. Satyapal Malik, he made very, very serious revelations against the Bharatiya Janata Party and how they operated. Mr. Malik told it clearly that they needed a plane. And if they were provided with a plane, they probably would have been alive today, the 40 Jawans that were martyred. And when he tried to convey the facts, the truth, he was told by the Bharatiya Janata Party to be quiet, to be mum on this issue. Now, what does it say about the Bharatiya Janata Party? What does it say about the government? They stand upon national security. They stand upon our Jawans.
All right, you've posed your questions. I'll let finish.
One last thing. Mr. Rajnath Singh, in his interview, also said that normalcy has been restored in Jammu and Kashmir. My question to Mr. Singh is that if it is true, then why till date statehood has not been restored, number one. Number two, it's been 10 years since the assembly elections happened. Number three, the troops which are still there, why does the state police, why does the government not entrust the state police with the law and order by pulling the troops back if everything is normal, if there is no issue at all, if the law and order is
Islam, please respond to that because I have to quickly go across to Mr. Sareen. He's been very patiently awaiting his turn.
I think if anybody even make a statement remotely, even say that the peace has not prevailed in Jammu and Kashmir, then they are not even aware of the situation of their own country. The tourism is thriving in Jammu and Kashmir. Number of tourists visiting in Jammu and Kashmir has gone exponentially high. It's unprecedented. People are extremely happy. If you ask them to put up their hand and say that Article 370 has been abrogated, are you happy? Everybody will put up their hand. Ordinary Kashmiri said, yes, it has been done. Do you get all the benefit from the government of India? All the welfare scheme is reaching out to you? Yes. They will say, yes, it is reaching out to us. I mean, the state has changed. Their thought process has changed, except the people who were ruling there. Yes, they will have problem. They are the people who have been vocal purely because they are the one who are victims. They were enjoying at the cost of the ordinary citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, the ordinary people of Jammu and Kashmir, and they were
Let
enjoying.
me bring in Sushant.
So now,
sure, go ahead. Please finish in 10 seconds.
No, so all I'm trying to tell you that situation has changed, but Congress party has not changed their mindset. In fact, they draw a strength from the first family. They are only trying to please the first family, and first family, what they are doing, they are damage to and they are sacrificing and they are compromising with the national interest. Like, for instance, Rahul Gandhi made a statement which was used by whom? The Prime Minister of Pakistan in United Nations. I mean, do you really want an opposition leader making a statement which can be used against your own nation? I mean, they need to introspect and before making any statement.
All right, Sushant Sareen, can a reference of "ghar mein ghus ke marenge" be applied to a country like China, which is using the template of encroaching on state territory through a state-sponsored mechanism via the army? How does India tackle with that, and what should be our threshold of tolerance towards a country like China?
Look, I think on the ghar mein ghus ke marenge, it is basically something which has been enunciated on the issue of terrorism and state sponsorship of terrorism, terror base camps, or terrorists who've carried out operations inside India and are taking refuge somewhere else. Now, to confuse that with a confrontation with a state or a state-to-state confrontation, these are two separate things.
But that's also threat to the territory, and they are doing it in a very sort of phased manner. We've seen that happen by the standardization of names for parts of Arunachal Pradesh. We've seen the way they functioned or operated in Galwan and Dokla.
Akansha, one, you can keep naming anything, it doesn't make a difference. Number one. Number two, when it comes to threat to territory, I don't think in the past 40, 50 years, we've seen the kind of deployments that we are seeing not just in the eastern sector, but also in eastern Ladakh or the northern sector. And I don't think there is any parallel to that ever in the past. There are almost about 60, 70,000 troops, missiles, air bases have been activated, all kinds of things have been done. You have massive artillery deployments. I don't know when else something like that has happened. So you're dealing with it at a different level. Is this some kind of sub-conventional warfare which the Chinese are trying to do with you? No. It's a very conventional kind of a thing, and you are responding to it in a very conventional way. To confuse that with what is happening with Pakistan are two separate things, number one. Number two, again, to confuse normal diplomacy with the rest of the stuff is something completely wacky in my view. For example, when the Congress government was in power, the then Pakistan Prime Minister Pervez Ashraf came. He was given full protocol. All the courtesies were extended to him when he wanted to go to Ajmer. What would you call that? Had Pakistan stopped doing terrorism at that time? 26/11 had just happened. Even earlier, when Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister, Ziaul Haq would drop in. Punjab was burning. Arshpreet, I believe, is from Punjab, if I'm not wrong. He would have known, or maybe he was too young, but I'm sure people in his family would tell him what the situation in Punjab was when Ziaul Haq, with a very treacherous kind of a smile, would come and interact with the Indian leadership. So that was normal diplomacy, which you also practice. But then you also do what needs to be done to combat terrorism. Now, this is a policy. Whether this is a policy or not, it's difficult to say.
All right, and that is why on the defense preparedness. Right. I'd like to, in fact, I'm running short of time. My apologies to you, Mr. Sareen. I'll have to, in fact, I'd like to close in with Major General Sivaj's thoughts. In terms of defense preparedness, we've seen how the UPA regime was functioning. We've seen the Augusta Wetland case. We've also, that entire scam. We've seen how soldiers were deprived of bulletproof jackets, night vision goggles. And today we have the Raksha Mantri go on record to say that we have an all-time high of defense exports that has now reached 21,000 crore rupees. How do you compare the defense preparedness of Bharat today versus India back then?
Akansha, sea change, no doubt about it. In last 10 years, the way India has prepared itself, both on northern and western border, is a matter of pride. If you see the infrastructure which we have made from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh, we have made roads, we have made tunnels, we have made logistic nodes very close to the line of actual control. We have made villages which are modern now with all the facility. So no doubt about it. As far as China is concerned, we are very well prepared. Type of weapons, ammunition which we have taken next to the line of actual control, tanks, we have taken RT guns, we have made airfield very close to the LAC. As far as Pakistan is concerned, again, as far as terrorism is concerned, our system, our outlook has changed. What we have said is that the terrorism hub center is in Pakistan. We are going to hit there. In case Pakistan involve itself in a terrorist activity in India, we are not going to take it lyingly. Therefore, it's a change of mind, determining India, which is there.
We'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in on the Super Saturday debate. Having said that, we don't know how the Guardian article will play out, but it's certainly going to feed into Prime Minister Modi's claims of India now having a more muscular foreign policy. We'll have to see how that plays out as far as the Lok Sabha polls are concerned. And with that, in fact, we have some breaking inputs coming in. All right, we're learning that Union Home Minister Amit Shah has now hit out at the Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge. This over the Congress chief's remarks on Jammu and Kashmir at a rally in Jaipur. Kharge, while addressing the rally, said that Prime Minister said he removed Article 370, what do the people here have to do with that? Amit Shah has now hit back, saying that Congress doesn't even know that many brave sons of Rajasthan have sacrificed their lives for peace and security in Kashmir. Congress's Jairam Ramesh has countered Union Minister's, Home Minister's attack on Kharge. Let's quickly go across to Payal Mehta, who's joining us with the details. Payal, first of all, take us through what is the attack being launched by the Congress party and how the Home Minister has come up with his rebuttal. But the larger message, of course, is that NDA is there for Jammu and Kashmir and not the UPA.
The BJP essentially has tried to send is that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, and they stand by the people of Jammu and Kashmir through thick and through thin, and that they have not played politics on the entire issue. So responses come in not only from the BJP, Amit Shah, for the Union Home Minister, but also the BJP National President, Mr. JP Nadda, has also hit out at the Congress party, saying the Congress party exposes itself by making these bizarre claims every now and then. The people of the country are watching as to what is being done. So obviously the Congress party has been blamed by the BJP multiple times, speaking about the historic blunders of the Nehru Gandhi family for having victimized the people of Jammu and Kashmir and used them for the longest as vote bank for their politics. So that's something which of course has been said in response to what Mallikarjun has said. Mallikarjun Kharge has said at a rally today in Jaipur, and there's a strong attack coming in from the BJP-led government here in the centre by Amit Shah, and of course the Union Home Minister also being supported by an attack coming in from the party's national president, JP Nadda.
All right, many thanks to you, Payal, for bringing in all those latest inputs. And that brings us to the end of the Super Saturday debate. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates continue on CNN News 18. Stay tuned.
अपने आशीर्वाद में कोई कमी नहीं रखी और मोदी ने